Good evening. I'd like to call the April 7th, 2026 Board of Commissioners work session meeting to order. To start us off, Ed, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Deanna, will you please do the roll call?
Becca Moody, President.
Here.
Denise Hall, Vice President.
Here.
Catherine Carter, Commissioner. Oh, Catherine's not here. Liz McNaney, Commissioner.
Here.
Gregory Mall, Commissioner.
here.
Sandra Zidell, Township Manager.
Here.
Megan Hurst, Assistant Township Manager.
Here.
Lauren Gallagher, Township Solicitor.
Here.
Nicholas Cross, Township Engineer.
Here.
David Duffy, Chief of Police. David Conroy, Zoning Officer.
Thank you. We're going to switch things up just a little bit tonight. We're going to go with item number 7 on the agenda first to get you guys in and out of here. Ed, I don't know if you want to come up to the podium and just make sure the green light is on and speaking. If you want to just give us some recognitions and talk about Norgwin softball and baseball.
Good. And if anyone wants to stay players, I'm sure they're more than welcome, right?
Yes. Oh, of course.
Yeah. So good evening and thank you for having us. I'm Ed Hill, the president of Norgwin Baseball and Softball. We're incredibly grateful for the township's continued support. As a 100% volunteer organization, our partnership with the township is what makes everything possible. Your investment goes far beyond the fields. It helps create strong, connected community where families come together, kids stay active, and lifelong friendships are built. From maintaining our 9-field complex to supporting key upgrades like fencing, equipment, and new LED lighting, the township's commitment allows us to provide a first-class experience for players of all ages. And the ongoing support from the Public Works team, whether it's materials, maintenance, or just being there when we need help, truly makes a difference every single day. Because of that partnership, Norgwin is more than just a place to play. It's a place where our community shows up for one another. Tonight, we're excited to celebrate 2 outstanding 2025 teams who truly bring Norgwin to life. First, our softball majors, Fightin' Phils. They had an incredible run last year, finishing the Bucksmont 12U runner-up out of 20 teams in their league. Even more impressive, this young group plays with energy, joy, and a genuine love for being together. You can feel it every time they take the field. And with most of the team returning, the future is very bright. And then our baseball majors Phillies, they delivered a dominant season, going 13-2 and winning back-to-back championships. No pressure this year, guys. They excelled in every phase of the game, but what everyone will remember is their dramatic walk-off home run to win the title. An unforgettable moment that captures everything we love about baseball. These teams represent the very best of Norgwin: talent, teamwork, energy, and heart, and they're a direct reflection of a community that supports them. So thank you again for everything you do to make this possible. Opening day is Saturday. It's supposed to be beautiful out. We hope to see you there at 10 a.m. on Field 1. Thanks again.
What was your pitch count on the home run? What was it? 3 and 2? 2 outs, bases loaded? 2 outs? 0-2?
Yeah.
And he threw you a fastball down the heart of the plate?
No, it was a hanging curveball.
Oh, hanging curveball. All right. Very good. What position you play?
Ed, do you want to take any pictures?
Yes, we would like to.
Sure. Yeah, come on up.
Are we allowed to?
Yeah, come on up. Come on up.
First, we want the Fightin' Phils softball team. Head on up.
No, what?
Go ahead. Oh, no, please. Come on.
Yeah, that's perfect.
One, two, three.
Wait, come on, do that. One, two, three. Fighting Phils!
Good job. All right. All right. Phillies on three. One, two, three. Good job, guys.
Good luck this year. All right.
All right, we're just going to let the room clear out for 1 minute, and then we will get back to the agenda.
Who ended up winning the merch man?
Thanks again, everyone.
That's funny.
Yeah, she can't make it up? No. Sorry.
Okay. Moving back to item number 5. Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, President Moody. So back in February, we had a police officer retire, and that police officer happened to be a sergeant. Therefore, we had a vacancy amongst our ranks of sergeant. So we followed a civil service process for hiring and promotion, as we always do with police officers. There was a written test and an oral interview was conducted, and the Civil Service Commission certified the list of eligible candidates for promotion on March 11th. A Civil Service Commission meeting was held on March 12th, and the top candidate for promotion was determined to be Sergeant Jonathan Gill. I thought I'd say a couple words about Jonathan before we proceed with the swearing in. Officer Jonathan Gill is a graduate of North Penn High School and earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Widener University. He then attended the Montgomery County Police Academy, graduating in 2009. He earned a Master of Science degree in criminal justice from St. Joseph's University. Officer Gill worked as a correctional officer in Montgomery County Prison before joining the Upper Gwynedd Police Department in January of 2010. He was assigned to the Patrol Division and then assigned as a detective in 2022, has served as a special county detective with the Montgomery County Drug Task Force and Gun Task Force. Officer Gill is a field training officer and a master instructor in both Taser and Bola Wrap. He is also a firearms instructor and armorer. He chaired the banquet committee for the department's 75th anniversary celebration recently. Officer Gill has received several letters of appreciation, numerous official commendations, 2 life-saving commendations, and was nominated by his fellow officers to be the 2013 and 2024 Officer of the Year. He lives in Telford with his wife, Heather, and their children, Bradley and Kaylee. Congratulations to Officer Gill, who will, at the end of tonight, be Sergeant Gill. And I would like to invite Judge Leonard to now swear him in.
I need this. Who's coming up?
No, I don't think I. Can you hear me? No? Hi.
Yeah. Judge Leonard, the people on Zoom need to hear you in the microphone. They won't be able to hear you if you don't use the microphone.
Okay,
On
I'm
Zoom.
going to use the microphone.
Thank you.
You have to get over here then. They want me to use the microphone. All right. All right. I'm going to just say a few words because I've known Sergeant Gill for almost 8 years now. And what I would like to say is not only is he a gentleman, he's very professional, he's very well prepared, and he's very intelligent. And it's always a pleasure to have him come into my courtroom and present his case. So thank you for that and congratulations. And now I'll give you the oath. Ready? Okay. Repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I, Jonathan Gill. Yeah, left hand on that. Yeah, you could do it. Go ahead. It's going to take a few minutes, though, okay? I, Jonathan Gill,
I, Jonathan Gill,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and the ordinance of Upper Gwynedd Township
the ordinance of Upper Gwynedd Township,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
I will bear true faith
bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and enforce the law
and enforce the law
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
gender,
gender,
religion,
religion,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
nationality,
nationality,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap,
handicap,
or disability.
or disability.
I, Jonathan Gill,
I, Jonathan Gill,
do further solemnly swear or affirm
further solemnly swear or affirm
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of probationary police sergeant
probationary discharge
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It was so cute though.
She's gonna do it too. Yeah. She practices. Perfect. Yes. Congratulations. You gotta make the round.
What's that? We're almost white. Yeah. Take a picture of it. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, go right on up. Yep, yep. Yep.
Bye-bye, police department. Oh, see you later. Some of you were hidden. Hi, Sophia. Nice to have the retirees here too.
Just wanted to point out, item number 4 on the agenda will be mentioned next Monday, the 13th. Okay, I believe next we have a presentation by the library. And we want to come up and then.
So I'm Nicole Skinner. I'm the Youth and Teen Experience Designer at North Wales Library. And Jennifer, our lovely director, asked Erin, who is the assistant director, and I to just speak briefly about some of our children and teen programming that we have going on this year. You're probably well aware of some of our early childhood programming. We really try to be intentional about building programming from early childhood through teen. And most people say, oh yeah, we know there's the library, they do story times. And we do that, but we also do a lot more than just early childhood. So you can move on to the next slide. I'll go as quickly as I can. So 0 to 5 programming, we have a lot going on. We have 3 times a week story time. We have kindergarten prep. We have toddler art, toddler sing, toddler movement. We do curated displays. We have monthly movies. We do parent cafes. Lots of different community outreach story times. I was just at Upper Gwynedd Unplugged Week this past week. But yeah, so that's sort of our bread and butter, but we also do so much more for elementary and teen. So you can go to the next slide. And so for elementary age programming, this year we've been offering quite a bit. Python coding, Java coding. We've been doing Girls Who Code. We have a financial literacy program. We offer homeschool STEM for our homeschoolers in the area. We have a very extensive summer reading program, Lego Club, Makerspace, Read to a Seeing Eye Pup, Science in the Summer. We have an architect story time coming up soon for Architecture Week. We have an AI program, and we also have a monthly or weekly series, One in Math. And then finally, what we're really proud of is that we're really, really working to grow this year is our teen programming. And so this year we established a teen advisory board, which provides a really wonderful leadership opportunity for local teens. And they've been providing tons of input for both our newly established teen space, as well as our growing teen programs, which we have monthly movie nights. We have laser tag at the library after hours. We have a bedazzle night coming up, which should be quite a hit. And we also offer a couple other things as well, such as Junior Friends of the Library. You can go back. I was still on team. Junior Friends of the Library, which also provides us a lot of feedback. Power the Pen, which is a monthly writing and art workshop that we're really, really proud of that we also established this year. And that over the summer, kids attended these monthly workshops and ended up creating their own anthology of literature, which we now have available for circulation in the library. So we're very, very proud of that. And then beyond that, finally, and then Erin, if you want to interject with anything else, we also offer a lot of family events. We have seasonal holiday events, family bingo. We currently have our school district art gallery display. We have summer reading programs, cultural evenings. all sorts of stuff. So that was really fast. Hopefully I put everything in there. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, I just wanted to say, for example, our last event was the Easter egg hunt, and we had 60. We actually had 100 kids sign up, and unfortunately, we have a small library and a small property, so we could only accommodate 60. But I have to say that our programs keep on growing, and it's essential that we keep with that growth too. So, thank you.
Good evening, supervisors. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm Jennifer Koch, the director at North Wales Library, and I'm here to share some exciting updates about how your continued support has made a real difference for our library. First and foremost, I want to express our sincere gratitude to Upper Gwynedd Township for your ongoing support. Your partnership has been instrumental in helping us serve our community, and we don't take that for granted. Let me share some numbers with you that tell the real story of the impact that you guys are having along with the library. We currently have 6,830 active patrons from Upper Gwynedd Township. That's not only thousands of your residents who rely on our library as a vital resource. That means you guys hold the record right now for those that we serve at the library. One of our most popular offerings has been our Attraction Pass program, which you guys fully support. We now provide 37 different attraction passes, giving families affordable access to museums, parks, and cultural institutions throughout Pennsylvania. In 2025 alone, these passes were checked out over 638 times. That's 638 opportunities for Upper Gwynedd families to explore, learn, and create memories together, all made possible through our partnership with you. Exciting changes in 2026. This year has brought significant positive changes to our library, and I'm excited to share that with you. We welcomed a new board president, Tanya Bamford, who joins us today. She brings fresh vision and leadership to guide us into the future. We've completely reimagined our children's and teen sections, creating dedicated spaces that are more inviting, functional, and responsive to the needs of young patrons. These areas are now vibrant hubs where kids and teens can discover new books, participate in programs, and develop a lifelong love of learning. You may have noticed we will be closed at the end of April, and that is for us to receive beautiful new flooring throughout the library. This isn't just a cosmetic upgrade. It will create a cleaner, safer, and more welcoming environment for everyone who walks through our doors. We've also completed a major geothermal upgrade, ensuring our building is comfortable year-round and energy efficient. This improvement means patrons can enjoy the library in any season, and we're being better stewards of our resources. Finally, we've expanded our programming significantly, from early literacy programs for toddlers to technology classes for seniors. We're offering more opportunities than ever for residents to learn, connect, and grow. We're still hopeful that we'll receive a grant or donation this year to fund our upgrade of our bookshelves, which will return 400 square feet of our library into usable space for our children's programming. The North Wales Area Library is more than just a place to borrow books. It's a community hub, a learning center, and a gathering place for Upper Gwynedd residents of all ages. None of this would be possible without your continued support. Thank you for believing in our mission and for investing in this vital community resource. We look forward to continuing to serve Upper Gwynedd Township for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 8. Ms. Gallagher, have there been any executive sessions?
Yes, the board met in executive session earlier this evening to discuss matters of litigation and a matter of potential litigation.
Thank you. And then finally, public comment. I have one signed up here. Judy, I don't know if you want to come up and speak in the microphone.
Hi, I'd like to make a comment about your item number 23, which is the proposed amendment or change to your parking ordinance.
I read through it thoroughly. I'm thankful that it is more environmentally friendly, reducing parking spaces where they tend to be somewhat unnecessary at times. But what I didn't see was biking infrastructure. Biking parking, to me, has become more and more important, particularly in our current economic climate with a increase in prices of gasoline. I'm sure you're going to find that more and more people are wanting to turn to their bikes as a mode of transportation. It should be taken seriously as an alternative method of transportation, and therefore it is also important to provide a safe way to park your bike. I know that I personally and people in my family and friends have used our bikes to go to grocery shopping, to church, to dentists, to restaurants, to the orthodontist, of course, to sporting events, and also to the library. I think it's very important to continue to provide that. Upper Gwynedd is generally a safe community, but in fact, we have had 2 bicycles stolen from our family. The police were fantastic. They found one of them, which was very impressive. I was also very impressed with it. Unfortunately, a more expensive bike was never found. That was probably hidden away in somebody's garage somewhere. But I'm sure the police would also find that, if we looked at records to see how many bicycles are stolen in the community every year, that you would see that it is a vital thing to have. Now, I noticed also that Upper Gwynedd have found that just here in the park alone, that the pickleball courts and the tennis courts are very popular, and a lot of people are driving to it, and then they're not finding parking spots. So I do encourage that you provide them with a bicycle rack to ease the parking. They go hand in hand. It would be beneficial. So you've got this ordinance that's been rewritten. I just encourage you, before you proceed to the next step, that you do consider adding the biking parking minimums for different types of situations. Some are just short-term parking, and others may be long-term parking for multi-family residences. They should also have biking parking. I've done a little research on my own, and I know that Montgomery County Planning Commission provides very good guidance for that. I would encourage you to look at that. And I also know that Lower Marion Township has successfully incorporated it. Their biking ordinance would also be a really good draft or example to follow. So I would encourage you to take this month. I saw that the structure is that you're presenting it tonight. You have until next week, and then it'll be publicly advertised for a month before it's adopted. So I would just encourage you to maybe revise that schedule a little bit, give yourself another amount of time to go ahead and put bike parking requirements in the ordinance. Okay, and that's all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the comment. Appreciate it. All right, now I will, do you want me to just go right to Nick or turn it to you? Oh, Dave. All right, now I'll turn the meeting over to Dave Conroy, zoning officer.
Gotcha. Good evening, everyone. Regarding planning and zoning this month, basically have 3 zoning hearing board applications being heard this month. One is continued from last month, 1327 East Prospect Ave. Basically, it's a subdivision that was approved by the board last year. They created a flag lot, but they need basically side yard variances for that new flag lot to put a dwelling on there. So that's what they're looking for. 1228 Scobie Drive just came in. They're basically just adding an addition out the back of their house. They have a growing family, so they're looking for a rear yard variance. And then one that literally just came in like 3 days ago. It's not on here, but 1968 Armstrong Drive. It's a corner lot. So basically it has 2 front yards. So they need a front yard variance and a rear yard variance with the way the lot is situated. They're just putting an addition on their house. I think to house an extra car in a garage, and then a little bump out for, I believe, a sunroom. So, but that's all we really have this month. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. Good.
Thank you.
Can we leave?
All right, moving over to the engineering report.
Thank you, Council President. I'm sorry, this isn't a council, it's a commission. Sorry, never mind. Just a quick report tonight. So just wanted to give an update on two of the projects that are ongoing. So the 2026 road program, we opened up the bids for that today. We received 7 bids. And our low bidder came in a pretty good bit below our budgeted estimate. I won't give the name just because we're still reviewing all the bid documents, but next week we'll be able to give our recommendation for award, and we should be able to get rolling on that project. We're pretty excited for the program this year. It's about $500,000 worth of work. And then for the Parks and Recreation Pole Barn, we had awarded that project last month. Contracts are currently being executed with the awarded contractor, and construction is expected to begin following the submittal approvals and material lead time as we work through those things. So that's pretty much all I had tonight. If anybody has any questions on those two or anything else, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Back to you. Yep, go ahead.
All right, so item 12, I'm going to suggest that we add to the consent agenda, actually items 12 through 14, and then I send it right back to you, Rebecca.
Okay, item number 15. All right, I'd like to read this. A proclamation recognizing April 19th through the 25th, 2026 as National Library Week in Upper Gwynedd Township. Whereas libraries are vital institutions that enrich the lives of individuals and strengthen the fabric of our community by providing free and equitable access to knowledge, information, and resources. And whereas libraries serve as welcoming spaces for people of all ages and backgrounds to learn, explore, create, and connect. And whereas library professionals and staff play a critical role in guiding individuals to discover new ideas, develop skills, and pursue lifelong learning. And whereas during National Library Week 2026, the theme Find Your Joy celebrates the many ways libraries spark imagination, inspire curiosity, and bring happiness to the community through books, programs, technology, and shared experiences. And whereas the residents of Upper Gwynedd Township benefit from the dedicated service of our local libraries, which foster literacy, innovation, and civic engagement. And whereas it is fitting to recognize and honor the essential contributions of libraries and encourage all residents to visit their library and discover the joys it offers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Upper Gwynedd Township does hereby proclaim April 19th through April 25th, 2026 as National Library Week in Upper Gwynedd Township, and encourages all residents to find your joy by exploring the valuable resources and opportunities available at their local library. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the proclamation for National Library Week. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, President Moody. Next up on the agenda is another exciting step towards filling some of our boards and commissions. We will be looking for approval for appointment of Christy Zoll to the Park and Rec Advisory Board and Layla Baird to the IDA and Planning Commission. That'll be something you'll vote on next week. Next up under public safety, we have authorization to advertise ordinance 2026-02, consolidation of recent police pension changes. So we have a pension ordinance that was probably started in mid-19th century and or mid-20th, I guess. The ordinance gets amended as we go through contract negotiations, and it was just sort of all a separate ordinance. This action will be to consolidate all the changes and amendments that have been made to the pension plan and redo the ordinance. So it'll be up to date with all those changes that have happened through the years. That'll be an item for your consideration next week. Back to you, President Moody, for 4 items. And I'm just going to give a quick synopsis of these items. I wish Ted was still here, Chief, but I'll pass on the pride we have about our Deputy Chief Kyle and all of the work he's been doing this month for acquisition of grants for the expensive police body camera upgrades that are coming our way in 2027. As you can see, you have 4 grant items in front of you. The first is actually for a grant that we did receive for $100,000 for body-worn cameras from the Economic Development and Community Development Initiatives Program. That was the fastest we've ever received funding from a grant program. I was shocked when they sent the contract. It was lickety-split, and we're so excited because this new camera upgrade is going to be about $527,000 for our 2027 capital fund. So we have applied for more than $527,000 of funding. Ted identified 4 different grants to apply from. We have 100, so we're down to 427. So that's what all these applications are. And I apologize in advance that a lot of them are ratifications, but as you guys are familiar with, grants, sometimes we just have to move when the deadline is happening, and board meetings don't always coordinate with those. So that is a general synopsis. There are 4 different action items, but they are all for the same things. Any questions from the public or the board?
Do we know how many of these require us to match funding?
Actually, there's a summary on the last one. I just have to get to it. My computer's slow. It's not your fault, Josh. I just get you when it's slow. You get the last one, Megan. Thank you. See that, of course. Let's see. There we go. What was your question again, Rebecca? What are matching? Oh, it's not in there. Actually, the Fetterman, I don't think that there were matching funds for all of them, but I will look and answer. You think what? There's only one that requires matching. But of course, we have acquired that 100K already, so I think that will probably be counted towards any matching funds we'll have to come up with. Either way, we need to upgrade the cameras. Chief, the county is moving to a new camera system, is that correct? So these new cameras will be able to coordinate with the county systems that everyone in the county is going to have to upgrade. So no matter what, we're spending 527. We're just hoping to find some grant funding.
Offset
to
it,
help with
yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, so then item number 18, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the township manager's approval of the $100,000 grant contract for body-worn cameras from Economic Development and Community Development Initiatives Program. May I have a second?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any additional board comments? Any public comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Item number 19, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the township manager's approval of the $250,000 grant application to 2027 Fetterman Congressionally Directed Spending Grant for body-worn cameras. May I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. I'd like to make a motion to ratify the township manager's approval of the $32,000 grant application from Small Rural Tribal Body-Worn Camera Program. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor? Aye. Aye. And then finally, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the township manager's approval of the $350,000 grant application from BJA fiscal year 2025 Local Law Enforcement Crime Gun Intelligence Center Integration Initiative for body-worn cameras. May I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
President Moody, Chief Duffy would like to make a few comments.
Sure, come on up.
Thank you for making those approvals. I just want to mention that, yes, DC has been working a lot on these grants and has some success, puts a lot of time in it, collaborating with other entities trying to get the funding. It is true these are, the ones we have now are fine, but we're also using some hand-me-down cameras from other departments that have already switched over to the other company. And even when we do get the cameras, because eventually we're going to have to our style of handling things financially is that not every officer gets a camera, because then we would not only need one for every officer, we would need backups. And our experience is we can get by for a 25, authorized strength of 25, about 16 cameras, which should be enough. If we have an event where we actually, for some reason, have more people working, we'll borrow them, just like sometimes people borrow from us. But they really become an essential part of police work. And we're looking at everything in terms of the packages available, and they become like cell phones now. You don't really ever own it. You subscribe, you get the cameras, and then by the time you own them, it's time to upgrade them. But the cameras coming out now, and in some ways it's good that we put it off. I would say we put it off at least 2-3 years, because what we would be upgrading to have, the cameras have translators, which is huge for us. Somebody speaks to us in a different language, it will speak back to us in English and vice versa. Some facial recognition aspects of it, and also automatic license plate readers are going to be incorporated in them. So there's a lot of technology that's coming with the upgrades that'll make these even better. So I just want to thank you for your support in that. We'll continue to try to get the funding.
Thank you.
I'd also like to make one more comment that $100,000 acquisition of that grant brings our total to I'm saying it so confidently, $4 million in grant funding since 2019.
Amazing.
Good job, staff. Okay,
Back to you.
thank you. Next up on the agenda is an authorization to advertise Ordinance 01-2026, a curative amendment to the zoning ordinance. We have with us Greg Heleniak from Lauren's office to talk to us about the curative amendment, answer any questions the board may have, and any questions the public may have.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is as you all know, the board authorized in a series of resolutions late last year and early this year, a curative amendment to address certain deficiency or perceived deficiencies in the zoning ordinance, specifically related to our regulation of boarding house definitions, the definition of dwelling unit, family, the group home regulations, rooming houses, and also data centers as a new use being proposed throughout the region, throughout the United States in general. So the draft ordinance that's in front of you has been reviewed by the Planning Commission at their meeting last month. And based on the feedback we received, they did not have any comments related to the version that sits in front of you. The initial draft, before I get into what this draft has, the initial draft also included provisions related to short-term rentals. At the time, we did an analysis as to a different method for regulating short-term rentals. We received additional comments related to whether we should proceed with that. That has all been removed from this draft based on the direction we received. So the only comments we received from the Planning Commission related to the short-term rentals. So all the information in here has been recommended by the Planning Commission to the Board of Commissioners for their approval. To walk you through what this ordinance proposes to do, we'll bifurcate that into two sections. One is everything related to communal dwelling models. So we're talking about rooming houses, boarding houses, and group homes. The second is related to data centers, and I'll get into that a bit after I go through the group home section. Basically, we took a look at your entire ordinance and how it regulated dwelling units. A dwelling unit is any space used for living, and the core portion of how we define and regulate those dwelling units goes back to the definition of family. The law focuses on the definition of family as the way that we defined what a dwelling unit is. So the definition of family that that is currently in our ordinance is fairly broad. It is kind of far-reaching and all-encompassing, and it doesn't quite reflect the current state of the regulation and how the courts view the regulation of dwelling units when it comes to these communal living situations. So the commissioners rightly resolved in the resolutions you passed in the past year that we needed to go back to the zoning ordinance and take a look at these because they may have left the township open to some challenges based on these definitions. So what this ordinance includes is a new, revised, and thorough definition of family. which also includes the township's obligations related to communal living and how that fits within the definition of family. So under the law, the township is obligated to accommodate communal living situations. And when I say communal living situations, I mean what we would both commonly refer to and what the ordinance refers to as group homes. Under the law, group homes are a use that we must provide for. And a group home, in its most basic definition, are unrelated persons living together, forming a housekeeping unit and operating, and this is where the definition of family comes in the manner of a family. Basically, unrelated persons living together in the same manner that a family would live in, so that they're living together, cooking together, sharing responsibilities. And the law says that we must provide for people to live in that communal setting. It goes to the deregulation and decentralization of communal dwelling models, that people should be in their communities, especially when they need additional, they may not be able to live on their own. We must provide for communal living settings. So people who face challenges from disabilities, be physical or mental, people who are aging, that want to live in a group setting, they are permitted under the law to live in this communal environment. So what this does is that provides for that, as long as they meet the definition of what a family is under our ordinance. So the definition of family, if you'll indulge me, because I think it frames this discussion, is, I won't read the whole thing, but the basic gist is one or more individuals related by blood, marriage, or adoption, including persons receiving formal foster care, or 5 or fewer unrelated individuals who maintain a common household, living and cooking together as a single, nonprofit, and non-transient housekeeping unit and live within one dwelling unit. And then it also goes on to say a family shall also expressly include numbers of unrelated persons pursuant to other sections of this ordinance residing within a licensed group home as defined herein. So that frames what we expect people who live in these communal situations to the framework and the environment that they're living in. What this also does is accommodate how the law stands now for communal living situations that exceed our definition of family. So the definition of family is 5 or fewer unrelated individuals, but the law allows some flexibility to that number. So you have the first threshold of 5. Then what this definition does for group homes in particular is provide a second tier between 6 and 8 persons who can live together if they can come in and show that there is a particular purpose. They'll have to come to the zoning hearing board and request a special exception, and the zoning hearing board will have to do an analysis as to whether those additional persons living in that communal situation still operate within the intention of the family living unit as the ordinance defines. The last level is when you want to exceed, when not you, but the applicant would want to exceed that cap of 8 people. And that's called a reasonable accommodation. A reasonable accommodation is a process specifically laid out in both the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and the Fair Housing Act that provides for a process when there are particular therapeutic, medical, or other treatment-related reasons that they can come to the township and by going to the zoning hearing board receive a reasonable accommodation hearing. And they have to show that there is one of those therapeutic, medical, or treatment-related reasons that justify more than 8 people living together. The law requires that we provide that process. So those are the 3 tiers a group home can operate it in.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Greg, but when you say the law, do you mean the Americans with Disabilities Act?
It's a combination of the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Fair Housing Act, and how the courts have interpreted those laws over the years. So it's basically putting all of that into one basket and how they interact with each other. So this this ordinance would update your zoning ordinance, provide for that process to ensure you're compliant. Most group homes that you'll see in any municipality, including Upper Gwynedd, will fall within that 5 or fewer number. And I think the vast majority of the group homes that exist today within your municipality do comply with that definition that we're obligated to comply with. We're not permitted as a township to regulate any further the existence of a group home that complies with the definition of family. So that this both protects the use, provides for the use, and protects the township, and also fulfills the township's obligation to provide for that use and provide the process for someone to exceed that number. That is all outlined throughout the ordinance. In addition, we've taken the definitions of boarding house and rooming house, which were both provided here, that had a little bit of overlap and maybe would cause some confusion or a lack of clarity as to those communal living situations, which are also part of a fair zoning scheme, and have rewritten it and included a new definition of boarding house to provide for that model of communal living, which is not a protected style of living, but it is a legitimate land use and still needs to be included within your zoning ordinance. Before I move on to data centers, are there any initial questions on group homes?
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm going to be framing this correctly, but if we had changes as the commissioners, changes, comments, additions, deletions, how much say do we have in that, knowing the law and what you had mentioned is dictated by the Fair Housing Act and the ADA law? Like, how much can we change it based on the language that you've provided to us?
There are small tweaks that can make. There are certain thresholds. The exact number, for example, that of in the definition of family of unrelated persons is slightly flexible because not every court has examined that. It's not a statutory number. It's a court-made number, and depending on the case and the particular situations, that number has been evaluated differently by different reviewing courts. But overall, the information we've gathered and the expertise that we've employed in putting this together find that 5 may be as close to a magic number as possible. So if that was number, that could be a conversation, but we would recommend at this point to go with that. As for and it's kind of the numbers, the number that would be provided in the special exception tier of a group home to allow 6, 7, or 8 people to live in that communal setting. That range is our recommendation based on that kind of softer guidance from the courts. We think it would hold firm to any challenge, and we think it's a smart choice for the township to make. But if you wanted it to be 6 or 7 or 6 to 9, there's some room there. But for the most part, this process and the definition we think is well grounded in the state of the law today.
Thank you.
Is this similar to the Golden Girls law that we talked about?
Is there any?
It is exactly, and I think this is a great. This is not a new issue. For most people, it's the oddest confluence of nerdy things of zoning law and classic television. But Commissioner McEnany is referencing an episode of the Golden Girls where they applied for a building permit and the building inspector came in and said, "You can't have 4 single women living together. That goes against our ordinances." And they had to creatively, it was at the time they were still calling them brothel ordinances because they were specifically targeted at unmarried women living together. And they had to figure out a creative way to stay together in their house, which meant that they all became part owners of the house or in some way. And as you famously know, 2 of them are related, so it would have been okay anyway. But this is the modern version since the 80s when the Golden Girls aired, how the law has evolved to what we have to allow and what we can require today.
And just as a reminder, from a procedural standpoint, what the board is considering this evening is authorization to advertise. If this is approved for advertisement this evening, it will get a full public hearing in May.
Correct.
Thank you. Before we move to data centers, is there anybody, I figured,
sure,
separating the two, is there any public comment that wants to be acknowledged now? Okay.
Right, so the second part, which is fairly short, is the inclusion of the use of data center in your zoning ordinance. It's an emerging use that we've seen requests and proposals for across the region, and really across the Commonwealth and across the United States. It's an emerging use that may fall within an existing use, but may not. Luckily, your zoning officer has not been confronted with making that interpretation yet, but it was an opportunity at this point to identify that we did not necessarily think there was something spot on in your ordinance, and it would be a legitimate land use that the township would have to provide for. So data center is regulated in a way that is provided in your industrial, your limited industrial district. It's required to be on a fairly large property of 4 acres and no closer than 200 feet of any property containing a residential use. So it's not a residentially zoned property, it's any property with a residential use. So even if there's a non-conforming residential property in that area, the data center still has to be more than a minimum of 200 feet away from that residential use. Additionally, we've made requirements that a utility impact study must be provided to the township that satisfactorily proves that there will be no adverse impact on the availability and cost of utilities as a result of the use, which addresses some fairly common concerns related to data centers that electricity prices or water prices will go up because of the demand that these facilities make on the utility grid if they are not generating their own power as part of their operation. And we also included a sound regulation here because that's another common concern of these facilities going in, that they generate a constant hum. But this would regulate any noise coming from this data center to be the equivalent of 60 decibels at the property boundary at all times. 60 decibels is currently the same number used in your noise ordinance for nighttime operation on any property. So this would ensure, it doesn't mean it's not the sound isn't going to exist or not exist, but it's consistent with your legislative determination that you've made already in your noise ordinance that this is a reasonable level of noise at the property boundary for nighttime operation. And that would also require any of these users who propose a data center to limit the noise or further buffer or shrink the footprint of their facility to comply with that noise regulation. So it would not impact surrounding residential or commercial or retail properties.
Thank you. Any additional board comments?
Nope.
Any additional public comments? Thank you. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you.
And again, that will be considered by the board in May for a public hearing. Up next is approval to advertise ordinance 03-2026 related to parking standards. This was discussed earlier in public comment. This purpose of this parking standards revision is to sort of reduce, in some cases, the unwieldy over parked areas that we have now in the township. People are not requiring as many parking spots for like office buildings, things like that, since work from home has come around. The changes generally adjust parking ratios, reduce or recalibrate the number of spaces, and the ordinance formalizes provisions allowing up to 50% of required parking to be held in reserve, unpaved until such time that the township would require it. So that kind of gives us a chance to require less at the beginning, which is more environmentally friendly. And then if it becomes a problem, ask people to build more as per their land development agreements. So that's a quick synopsis. You have the full ordinance in your packet. I do want to address the public comment that was made earlier about including bike parking into the standards. We do have an upcoming Saldo revision that we're reviewing for bike lanes, or no, not bike lanes, bike trails to be required during subdivision and land development. So requiring developers to build a trail if they're building somewhere where we have a planned trail. I think that adding bike racks and parking to our Saldo, that would be a more appropriate place for it than in the parking ordinance. But Solicitor Gallagher, I'm going to ask your opinion on that.
I would agree. The requirement to add trails and bike parking, things of that nature is definitely more appropriate in Saldo. The zoning addresses things like the number of parking spaces, the distance from property lines, things of that nature.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my spiel on that. You guys will be looking to advertise next week. Does the board have any questions? Public? Okay. Oh, come on up. Yeah.
In my opinion, it would be better served in the parking. We have different kinds of modes of transportation. We have cars, trucks, motorcycles, scooters, bicycles are also a really valid method of transportation. We keep trying as a whole society across the whole country, this is happening, where biking is, it's like a hate or love relationship. And it really should not be viewed that way. It should really be viewed as a legitimate mode of transportation. In fact, there are some families that purposefully choose to have only one car, and then they have bikes that are outfitted to carry their children. It is a real mode of transportation. I think it should really be put into the parking.
And I think that, I don't think there's an objection necessarily from the township about requiring the bike parking. That's something that we'll address with the trail ordinance, which I think does make sense there. But the difference between the Saldo and the zoning, the Saldo sets forth the requirement that you include certain types of amenities, including it would be something like bike parking. The zoning ordinance, once that requirement is in place, would address where does it go, how many are required, what types of materials are used, things like that. The Saldo is the proper place for the actual requirement to go. This is just, again, the parking spaces, the requirement for parking is from the land development process, and then the zoning tells you, based on your use, how many you need to put in.
So it's almost like you
It's
can't
a
have one without the other.
So the Saldo is like, for, pardon the pun, the vehicle with which we're able to address the inclusion of bike parking. And the ordinance would then, speak to, like you had talked, the materials, where do they go, the density, and
Correct.
so forth.
So, and again, the trail ordinance is something that's still in progress. If the board is of a mind, we could address both at the same time, but this ordinance is just dealing with vehicle parking. It's an issue identified by the zoning officer that the parking standards were just really out of whack for the number of parking spaces that were required.
Just seems like the perfect opportunity.
But right now,
Also-
there's no requirement in the ordinance to have the bicycle parking. In order to do that, we'd have to amend the Saldo.
Okay,
So-
now I understand. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Additionally, you'll have an escrow release for the Wawa being constructed at Valley Forge Road. Under the Public Works section, next week, you'll be considering the approval of a proposal from Armour & Sons to replace the red light signal ahead at Beaver Street. I drive by there every day, and it's looking a little shabby and needs an upgrade. It's also very important for safety. We're also looking for approval to purchase a snow plow, just the plow portion, from EM Colts in the amount of $20,800. We're looking to put in snow guards on traffic signals for $17,000 and change. And those are pretty run-of-the-mill activities. The next one, we are looking for approval to reject the stormwater equipment and labor bid and authorize bidding of individual stormwater projects. Nick, did you want to speak for a moment to this one?
Yeah, so in the past, we have used this agreement, I guess, with a contractor where they bid out their hourly rate to rent the equipment and to utilize their labor. In the past, the township has gotten some great hourly rates. The most recent one was with Floyd G. Hirsch. Over the last few years, they used to be at around $30 an hour. And I believe the one bid that we received this year, the rate came in at about $100 an hour for each laborer. So that rate is a little bit higher than what we typically see for prevailing wage in general. So I'm not sure that the township would really be getting much savings by awarding that bid and moving forward as we have in the past. So in my opinion, and speaking with Sandra and John Jabala, I think it makes the most sense, at least for this year, just to bid out the individual projects on a per project basis, and then maybe reevaluate next year whether they want to put the stormwater equipment rental bid back out. So
Thanks, Nick. That was a great
no problem.
summary. Any questions? Okay. And the next item, approval to remove Sugar Valley roads from the road program and implement our alternative improvements. I'm very excited to present this to the board tonight. As you heard numerous times me talk publicly about the roads in Sugar Valley and how the microsurfacing sort of made certain areas uneven related to manholes and storm sewer inlets. This solution was creatively come up with a combo between our sewer and public works departments that instead of repaving all the roads to make it match up, a much cheaper and cost-effective solution would be to replace the manholes. This is something we had avoided initially in our review, just due to the cost and labor related to it. But because the cost of also paving roads is so expensive, we tried to find the lowest cost solution. So the wastewater department is proposing to, over a 3-year period, replace all of the manholes. There's a type of manhole lid that has it's bigger and thicker, so it'll, close the gap. That's what I was looking for. I'm showing you with my finger, but close the gap. So we're excited about this. It should have some significant savings, and we will be able to do those manhole replacements in-house, so you'll just be paying for the equipment.
And it's just the manhole lids, right?
Yes. Any questions on that? And then Nick already spoke about item 30, which is the bid opening and the road program, which you will have before you next week. We're also looking for approval of the 2026 concession stand lease with Littles. It's the same rate as it was last year, not much changing there. And Commissioner or President Moody, I'll turn it back to you for number 32, which is a decision item. We're looking to sell. We've already posted on Municipid, which is a public bidding site, several pieces of Park and Rec equipment that are basically taking up space in our garages that we no longer need and bringing in some revenue for those pieces of equipment.
Excellent. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Municipid sale of Parks and Rec equipment in the amount of $2,265. May I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
We have another decision for you.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had to do some emergency repairs to the variable frequency drive, VFD, in the wastewater term. That's one we use a lot, at the North Pump Station. That was something we just had to do because it was not working, and we're looking for ratification of those repairs. We used a CoStar's vendor as well for those emergency repairs, Lister Gallagher.
Thank you. All right. I'd like to make a motion to ratify the emergency repairs to BSI in the amount of $28,615. May I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Item 34 is a resolution approving our 2025 pretreatment fees for our industrial user program. That program includes inspections, sampling, testing, and monitoring of discharge from commercial and industrial users, and there's a fee resolution that goes with it. Item 35, next week we'll be looking for the approval to issue an RFP for wastewater engineering services. That is something that we've been looking at for some time, and we'll be looking for board approval next week. Lastly, we're looking to approve the pump station service contract with Xylem in the amount of $9,730. Those are just some regular wastewater things, and well, except for a couple of them. Oops, lost the agenda, but I have it in front of me. We have the approval of open and paid invoices that will occur next week as well.
Okay, and with that, we will adjourn the meeting for tonight. Thank you.